Hello everyone, welcome back to Dash Brothers Outdoors, and welcome back to episode 2 of Saturday Fur Trapping Hour. Today we have a very special guest with us. I won't tell you who he is. I'll let him introduce himself here in a little bit, but if you guys followed our channel this past trapping season and watched all of our catch videos, or at least a large portion of you, probably heard his name quite a bit. We use a lot of his bait and lure, and I'll give you a hint. For those of you who do a lot of trapping groups on Facebook, there was a while back he posted a couple videos where he had to release a bobcat out of his trap, and it jumped into the engine of his pickup, and he has a couple videos up on some trapping groups, including Asher Bros Trapping America, where he's trying to get this thinking bobcat that he just turned loose out of his trap, out of his pickup engine. So that was pretty neat. So if you guys have seen that, you'll know who I'm talking about probably. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We had a great time talking. It's the first one we did was only a little over 20 minutes, but this one's a total a little over 30 minutes. So it turned out a lot better, I think, and we had a great little talk. So hope y'all enjoy, and let's get right to it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Dash Brothers Outdoors. I have a special guest with me today, and I'm going to turn it over to him and let him introduce himself.
My name is Ernest Winter. I own Winter Wildlife Patrol and Winter Wildlife Bait and Lure. I've been trapping close to 50 years now. I've been making bait and lure for almost 40 years. I trapped professionally back in the 70s and 80s. My total income was made by trapping, and I did run a ranch box for a few years. And then I got out of the lure business for a little while. I still sold some, but I didn't advertise much. And in the last 6-7 years, I decided to bring my bait and lure back out and start selling it again. And it's been doing really good the last several years, even with the downturn in the fur market.
So,
okay.
So how did you get started trapping?
Years ago, back, I lived on a farm here in Michigan. My grandfather trapped. A lot of the old guys used to, years back in the 40s and 50s, they used to make as much money trapping, mostly water, than they did working in the factories and stuff. And my grandfather always trapped, and I tagged along with him, and I really enjoyed it. He got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore because of his age, so I more or less took it over and just went crazy on it, I guess.
Yes, sir. So how old, do you have any idea how old you were when you first got started?
I was probably 7-8 years old when I first started.
So how is trapping up there in Michigan?
It's good. It fluctuates like everything else. Right now, the muskrats are they're spotty, but there is some big marshes up around the lake fronts where there's a considerable amount of muskrats. There's beaver, we have otter. In the UP, we have mink and marten. We used to have quite a few fox, and they're kind of spotty right now, but that's due to the overpopulation of coyotes. And we have a little bit of everything. We have badgers and a few gray fox. The Semper went through them here a few years ago, so their numbers are down. But all in all, we have a fairly good population with a little bit of everything.
Yes, sir. So, about what year did the coyotes move in up there?
First coyote I caught was back in '82, and when I was fox trapping, and I probably missed a couple just due to, I thought I lost something because I was using small traps for fox. But first ones I caught was '82, and by the early 90s, we were catching more coyotes than we were fox. It was a short period. The red fox got distemper and mange in them, and about the same time the coyotes were coming in, and they never really recovered. The coyotes did really well, and the fox really never come back like he used to.
Yeah, so what are the main challenges for you every season? Is it trying to keep your traps operational, like trying to keep them from freezing the ground, or?
Well, in Michigan, we're always every trapper's got their challenges, different weathers, but Michigan's known for being one day being 40 and the next day being teens and 20s, rain in between. So it's keeping your traps working, and we're always dealing with mud and water, snow. Most of your eastern trappers run in the same thing. I talk to guys from New York and Pennsylvania and all that, and they're all running about the same thing. Yeah, it'd be one day, like I said, it'd be one day, you might run 2 or 3 days in the 40s and all in rain, and then all of a sudden drop down teens and 20s for a week. You know, it's just the challenge is just to keep the traps operational.
So how do you keep your traps going? Do you use waxed dirt or peat moss?
I use peat moss when it's not really bad, and then I use, years ago, Major Bodecker, I read an article, and I went to a seminar he had, that the government did a survey on what was the best and the cheapest thing to do, and they did the waxed dirt and all the other stuff that's out there right now, but the best thing they found was dry sand that you can buy at the local hardware store or big box stores. They call it play sand. It's bone dry, and they mix it with just regular stock, fine stock salt, and they mix it to a 5-to-1 ratio. For every one pound of salt, put 5 pounds of sand, and mix it together. And when it gets really bad, I use that, and I usually don't have any. I very rarely have any problems.
So what do you use for a pan cover? Do you use pan covers or underalls?
Oh, I use wax paper. I use just generic wax paper. Nothing fancy. You don't want anything with any smell on it or anything, but just plain old wax paper. And if you take a wax paper tube and you cut it in half, it'll fit a number 3 trap just about perfect. And I take my hammer and I flatten the roll out. So when you unroll it, it comes out to a crease. So when you can tear it on a crease, and it'll fit right in your trap. And I wad it up so it don't make a crackling noise, and unfold it and put it over my trap. But I've used wax paper for years, and I've never had any problems with it.
Yes, sir. I agree with you there, definitely. That's all we use is wax paper. So, what got you started making bait and lure?
Back in the 70s, I was running long lines here in Michigan. I trapped Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Indiana, and Ohio, and it's like everything else. It kind of goes with most of the guys I knew that used to do it for a living. They start playing with making lure bait and lures and stuff to try to more or less save money on the line, because like everything else is an expense. And over the years, I've been really fortunate to know some really good trappers, and 2 or 3 of them were pretty good lure makers. And they helped me out with making some bait and lures, and they kind of guided me. They didn't really tell me how to do it, but they kind of guided me, told me what kind of things work better than others, and then over trial and error, I come up with some pretty good formulas and pretty good bait, and I've been using them, like I said, ever since the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of them.
Yes,
That's how I got into it.
We used your bait and lure this past season, and my brother Justin, he is a diehard fan of Wayne Derrick's bait and lure, but he was swearing by your Smokehouse Predator bait. So he said that was really the best bait he's used. He caught a lot of stuff on it, so we really like that one.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
And I think he said his second best was your Predator bait 1 as well. So,
right. out with it about 6-7 years ago, and I started advertising the stuff, and we've grown. We've grown every year we've had it out, and I think the way the market is right now with the fur price and everything, I think that's a really positive thing, because people wouldn't be buying it the way the market is if they didn't believe in it.
Yes, sir. So, what animal do you target the most? What's your favorite to catch?
When I was younger, I used to do a lot of water trapping. I really loved to trap muskrats, beaver, and mink. But in the last probably 10, 15 years, it's been mostly predators. I've really got into the predators to in excess, I guess. We used to trap a lot of predators, but back in the 70s, 80s, fox, there was a lot of them around. You could easily catch 100 plus a year, and moved around. But with the coyotes coming in and everything, it's mostly predators anymore. I love to trap everything. I really do. I wish we've been catching a lot of accidental we're not allowed to keep bobcat in the southern part of Michigan. We can in the northern part, but we're not allowed to keep one. I really think I'd really enjoy it if I trap a bunch of them, but in our state we're kind of restricted to them. But all in all, I would say predators right now. I really love trapping coyotes.
So, what is your go-to predator trap?
Right now, I've been using for about 8-10 years now Sleepy Creek number 3s and 1 3/4. I've been using them. I do have some off brands for high theft areas, because we have some places that we get traps stolen quite often, and so I use a cheaper trap there. But all in all, I really like the Sleepy Creek number 3s.
So, do you go with the offset style or the closed jaws?
I use both. I really, the offsets on a bigger trap are, I think, better where you got more of different species, where you're still catching a few bucks and a few coyotes, or a few raccoons, I mean, because they're kinder to the animal. But I've got both offset and the closed jaws. I think I'd prefer the offsets.
Yes, sir. So, I know there's most trappers have a different idea about scent control, but what are your ideas on it? Do you treat your traps after each catch, or what?
No, I don't. I had some years ago. I used to pull the traps and reset them and all that. And I sat down with a pretty well-known trapper named Robert Went out of Indiana, and I was talking to him, and he says, "You're just wasting your time." He says, "If you try it, He said, "The first part of the year, I go through all my traps, and I tune them, check the springs, everything, make sure they're all right, pay attention, get everything just right, and then I wax and dye them. And after that, I trap right on through the season. The only time I ever change a trap is when I catch a skunk. If I catch a skunk, if you pull that trap, take it to a new location, I'll have problems, I'll dig it up. But anything else, I've never really had any problem. I just keep on just trapping."
Yes, sir. It was during the 2018-19 trapping season. I had a trap. I set it. I caught a bobcat. Reset it. Caught a coon. Pulled that trap up. Moved it over a ways and caught 2 coyotes. So I definitely agree with you. I don't think that all that hype about the scent control was changing your trap out after each catch is really something that's absolutely necessary there. I didn't have a problem where I'm trapping, so.
Yeah, Yeah, I've done it for years, and I don't state hop as like I used to, and I just trapped Michigan, and I average 100 plus coyotes during first season, and then plus whatever I catch during the nuisance control through the season. I've never had any problems. Like I said, the only time I ever change them is when I catch a skunk. Because you can take a skunk trap, set it outside, pick it up spring to work on it, and you still, when you scrape off the dirt or whatever, you still get a whiff of that skunk. You know, it's just something about skunk, it just stays on the trap.
Yes, sir. So, how do you do remakes? Do you pick your trap up and move it outside the catch circle, or you just put it right back inside the catch circle?
On a remake?
Yes, sir.
Remake, I always make the remake set, but I always have a fresh set in the area. If I have two sets and both of them are caught animals, I'll remake them. I'll remake the catch circles in that area, but I always have a fresh set somewhere in that location. It seems to me you catch the older ones in the fresh set. The remakes, they'll still catch, and it'll still catch some of the older dogs, but it takes a little longer because they're a little more shy of it. That's always why I have a fresh set in a location. Sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 traps in one location because I'll have 2 or 3 burn spots. But I'll always have one fresh set there for that one reason, just to help my eyes with the older, smarter ones.
Yes, sir. So, do you do much snaring?
Yeah, I Michigan laws, I shouldn't say this, but I really don't like the way they're set up because you lose a lot of coyotes. We got a loop has to be with a deer stop, and I think it's 4.5 inches now for the closing. You can't really catch a fox. Fox will walk right through them unless you catch them midsection. And coyotes, we used to have a law that was around 3.5 inches, and it would hold them around, and the lock would stay on the back of their neck. Well, with the bigger opening, it slides around in front of them, and they chew the cable in half.
Yes,
and you lose quite a bit of them. I have talked to several guys over the years, and I have brought that down. It was almost a 50% loss because you can't use entanglement. You can't have anything entangle a snare. If you go to a tree, you tie out the tree's got to be a certain diameter around. I think it's 18 inches or 20 inches around, and then you got to cut all the limbs off 5 foot in the air, so there's no entanglement. So you can't use any entanglements to choke them down any better. So I still use snares, but I went to the 1x19 cable because it's a little tougher and it takes the still fray it, but they don't break it as much as they do the 7x7, 3/32, and some of the other cables. I've been using the 1x19, and I went to a different type relaxing lock, a reverse bend washer type lock, and it seems to work better. So I've cut my losses down to about a third of my catches that I lose. So I'm getting it down to where my losses ain't quite as bad. But I prefer the leg holds over snares. Big.
Yes, sir. So, what do you do? A lot of coon trapping?
Yeah, we do. We have a really good coon population up here. I've had years of 500 to 600.
Wow.
Coon. Right now, you could easily do that because our coon. I've been trapping the coon the last couple of years a little bit, just because I don't want to get too far overpopulated and get disease in them, because disease takes out everything. It don't take out just the coon. racer right now, I would say just on my Predator sets alone, we average probably 100 plus a year of just accidental catches on coon.
Yes, sir.
Well, we have a lot down where I'm at. Southern part of the state's a lot of cornfields and stuff like that, and cornfields and woods and swamps. So it's the coon actually, they're abundant enough. They actually got their trails look like deer trails going in and out of the woods, the cornfields and stuff, and we have a really good coon population.
So, what is your trap of choice for trapping raccoons?
I like conibears and 110s, or not 110s, but 1.5s for water sets. DPs, the last few years, I've been using quite a few of them. But the years that I've really caught the big numbers were all the conibears and 1.5. I'd either blind sets, pocket sets, or just trail sets with conibears. I've used bucket sets with conibears. They work really well too.
So, what size conibear do you use for raccoon?
I used to use 220s a lot, but they used to be on private land. You could use them, but now they've pretty much outlawed them altogether. You still can use them in a bucket. They got to have a lip on it. They got to be recessed in the bucket so far back, or hung in a tree so many feet off the ground. The 165s, you can catch coon if you find tight down trails where they're going through the grass and stuff, which we have a lot of it up here. You'd be surprised what you catch a 165 conibear, and tight down the trails, and they're always head catches, but you can catch them pretty good. You can catch 15, 20 pound coon in a 165.
Wow.
I've done it. I've done it several times up here.
So, do you have a prediction for the fur market? I mean, there's a lot of, the NAFTA went out and the fur prices are down. Do you have a prediction about what the fur market's going to do in the future?
Well, yeah, I really don't know right at this moment. Everything's up in the air. They canceled the fur harvesters because of this virus going around. I just got a statement the other day. I posted it on my website that they canceled it. So the next one in May, I believe, they postponed everything off. I think it's going to take a couple of years to wash out because there's too much fur around. The last 2 years have been really mild winters up here in the north and the eastern states. Every fur buyer I've talked to, they said they bought more fur this year than they have in years, just because of the warm weather, and people could get out and trap longer and harder than they ever had. So and with all the stuff that NAFTA got left over, and they're dumping it on the fur harvesters auctions too, I think that's going to be not a positive effect either. But I think all in all, once all this washes out, I think it's going to take a couple of years, but I believe it will come back. Like the muskrat prices, a lot of these meat ranchers are getting out of business, and once all the ranch meat get out of the market, usually if there's not a lot of meat on the market, muskrat prices will climb. And Russia and China's got to get back on board again, so the coon market will come back, because that's where pretty much all our coon go to is Russia and China.
Yes, sir.
And overseas, so that's going to be another stable there. I think I don't think the coyote market will be as high next year as far as price wise. I think they'll be marketable. I think they'll do fair, but I don't think it's going to be a year or two, because I think there's a lot of them around. The Western boys are sitting at $100, $120 or more they were seeing there they got really good coyotes. They're really nice coyotes. But I think that price is going to come down too, just like their cats did. The cats fell in the dumpster this year for the western cats and the northern state cats. There's still some guys getting the big dollars, but all in all, I think they've dropped considerably too. I think it's going to be a couple of years before it's going to turn back around right now.
So, what kind of fur stretchers do you use? Do you sell your furs green, or do you use wooden or wire stretcher?
I use wood stretchers on just about everything except the muskrat. I use solid boards for my coyotes and my fox. I have used the hoops for beaver, but I like the boards a little better. Just tack out my boards. I like them a little better. And mink I do on wood. But the only thing I do on wire anymore is muskrat.
Yes, sir. So, do you do interstate trapping? Do you go from to different states each season and trap?
No, I don't anymore. I used to. I've been thinking about it because I retired from my other job, so I'm just trapping now and doing bait and lure. So I'm going to look into it next year. I'm thinking about going out west. I don't know. I got one guy wants me to come out there to South Dakota trap with him, and I got some other guys that want me to come out there. I got one guy up in Wyoming. So I'm going to toss that up in the air and think about doing one of them next year.
Yes, sir. So, when it comes to staking your traps, what do you use? Earth anchors or drags or rebar?
Yeah, I use around here where I'm at. I use earth anchors anymore. I used to use rebar a lot. I've never been a big fan on drags. Drags are out where I'm at. You spend most of your time chasing the animals down because there's a lot of open country. If you go like 3 or 4 hours north of me up in the lower Upper Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula, I have used drags when I used to go up there because there's a lot of brush and they don't get very far. I've even used the drags with the coon up here because they save your set and they'd only get maybe 10, 15 feet away from where your set was. Same way with the coyotes and the fox up here. They don't get far, but down around home I use earth anchors a lot.
Well, so I guess that's about all the questions I got for you today. Is there anything you'd like to say before we finish? All the people I know, the world's kind of going crazy right now because of this coronavirus. And with the trapping, all the fur markets crashed, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. We're constantly getting hit by anti-trapping legislations and whatnot. So would you like to say anything to our listeners that before we stop?
Yeah. As a whole, I think all of us trappers and hunters, fishermen, and everybody need to stick together. There's too much bickering in between all the different sports. As a whole, we'd be a lot stronger than we are being separated. Because trappers are a small minority, and dog hunters are a small minority, and all of us together, if we could just all come together and form one big alliance to keep these people away from us, because they're after all of us. They ain't after just the trapper. They ain't just after the hunter. They're even going after the farmers anymore. And everybody just needs to get together and fight these people and keep them at bay, because if they don't, because every time one of us
Compromises?
Yeah, every time one of our sports like trapping or hunting or whatever loses anything, it hurts everybody because they just keep growing on it and building on it, and they keep going after everybody. We just need to all work together
So you give the antis an inch and they'll take your whole foot, your whole arm.
Oh yeah, they'll take everything they get a hold of. There's no doubt about that.
So, thanks for being on with us today, Mr. Winter.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for the time. And I'd like to say, if anybody needs some good bait and lure, just go to Winter Wildlife Control online, look at our webpage, and give us a look and give us a try.
Yes, sir. It's good stuff, so guys, definitely go check it out.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Winter.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye. So there you go, guys. There's our interview with Mr. Winter. I'll leave all his contact information at the end of this video. And so we used his bait and lure this season. We had great luck with it, and you'll definitely want to go try it out. So hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Make sure to subscribe, share this video around, let your friends and neighbors know about it, and if you've got any questions, just leave it in the comments. So thanks for watching.